This is coordinate distance. Coordinate distance is also called the distance formula. We are asked to find the distance between 2 points, and then they want it in simplest radical form. So, two ways of doing this, the graphical way and the formula or algebraic way. So the algebraic way or the formula, if you see distance of 2 points, it would be the distance is equal to the square root of the change of the x's plus the change of the y's. And each one is squared. So that would be x2 minus x1 quantity squared plus y2 minus y1 quantity squared, and all of that is under the square root sign. So that's method number one. Method number two is if we have our 2 points and we're trying to find the distance between those 2 points, we would use the idea of a right triangle and the Pythagorean theorem and apply it to it. So the right triangle idea would be the change of the x's squared plus the change of the y's squared. And then to solve that, we would find the hypotenuse, which would be square rooting everything. All right. So usually at this stage of the game, we are using the distance formula. This would be if you forget the distance formula, and then you can kind of just do it by hand. All right. So we're just plugging things in. I'll call this my first point, x1, y1. Second point, x2, y2. And plug everything in. Distance is equal to the square root. x2 is -1. Minus x1 is 4. All of that gets squared. Plus y2 is -9. Minus y1 is -3. That's a double negative sign. Sometimes students get that confused. All that gets squared. So order of operations at this point, we are doing grouping symbols. So d is equal to the square root. -1 minus 4 is -5. All of that is squared. Plus, inside of here, -9 plus 3, negative and negative make a positive. That'd be -6. And all that gets squared. That's going to be equal to, now we are doing inside of here, exponents come first. So that would be 25 plus 36. And 25 plus 36 is equal to 61. 61, I think, is prime, so there's nothing else we can do there. If there was, we always have to check if there's any pairs or perfect squares inside the radical. That's what this means, is they have to be pulled out. Answer: square root of 61. That's the distance between the 2 points. I guess you could kind of use a calculator and estimate, but it's pretty difficult. If this were a test question, very important, I'd probably do both methods to make sure that everything made sense. And there it is right there. So the distance that I'm talking about, since they gave me the graph, the other way of doing it would be to do the Pythagorean theorem here. So this side right here and this side right here are what we need. That would be like the A, the B, and the C. And then that would be A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So the A value is the y's, the change in y's. So that's a -3 to -9. How has -3 changed to -9? It went down by -6. The other one, the B values right here, that would be the X values, the change horizontally. And we got a -1 to 4. How has -1 to 4 changed? It changed by 5. So then we would go ahead and just plug those in. 5 squared plus -6 squared equals C squared. Since these are being squared, if you have trouble with the negatives or the positives, then it gets kind of absorbed here, so that'd be okay too. That'd be your 25 plus 36 again. That would be your 61. And then to get it by itself, square root both sides. Don't forget the plus and minus in my book. Since this is distance, it's always positive. Square root of 61 again. All right, so either method, using the Pythagorean theorem and graphing it out and doing it that way, versus the formula, which is straightforward. And at this stage of the game, this is kind of your default method. If you have to use it, you're encouraged to use the distance formula. All right. And find the distance between 2 points. Where are the 2 points? Oh, there they are there. All right, and they're just, so in this way, they're setting you up graphically. So either way you want to do it. But in this case, you would definitely want to mark your points. That's 2, 9. And this point right here, x is 9, y is 0. And then plugging it into the distance formula, or you can do it by hand also, the graphical way. Everything else should be similar.